Sounds up. Okay, good. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Before we begin the council meeting, I'd like to put in the record that today is August 3rd. The time is now 7:02 p.m. Before we begin the council meeting, we have a public hearing on ordinance 1039 concerning peddling and soliciting inside the city. I will read the header to the ordinance, and I will call on the audience at large if there's any questions or comments, and then I'll ask questions or comments from the council. Public hearing for ordinance 1039 concerning peddling and soliciting. An ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Havre Grace adopted pursuant to the authority of Article 678 to make certain technical and grammatical corrections and to add section 127-10 food truck requirements of the city code, chapter 127, titled peddling and soliciting. I just read the header into the record. We are now engaged in a public. All right, very well then. Okay, with no questions or comments, I now declare public hearing on ordinance 1039 closed. The time is now 7:03. I now call to order the meeting of the Havre Grace Mayor and City Council. The time is now 7:03 p.m. The date is August 3rd. I will call the roll. I know your names, I just need to check it over. Council President Glenn.
Here.
Councilmember Robertson.
Here.
Councilmember Zinner.
Here.
Councilmember Boyer.
Here.
Councilmember Ringsocker.
Here.
Councilmember Martin.
Here.
With all council members present and accounted for, I'd like to go into Pledge of Allegiance and the opening prayer. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation,
under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
If I could kindly ask everyone just to remain standing a few more moments as I call forward Pastor Adam Barnes of Restored Church in Havre Grace. Pastor, it's actually a pleasure and honor to have you here with us this evening. It's been a while. Thank you.
Yes, it is an honor to be here today, so thank you for this privilege to do so.
Thank you.
I would like to read to you briefly out of Proverbs. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to him, and he will make your paths straight. Let us pray together. Loving and gracious God, you are indeed the giver of all good gifts, and we thank you today for your blessings, for our government leaders, for our mayor and this council, for our medical personnel and first responders, and for all our community members. God, we ask you to bless them abundantly, and we ask your wisdom, guidance, and courage, your strength. Be with us during this time and help us to be wise in the decisions that we make for the good of all those who have placed their trust and confidence in our leadership. Give us insight to lead with integrity, and our decisions may reflect what is right and good. God, we ask for your grace to be poured out on our community, that we may be a community that operates with divine favor. Lord, grant us humility to seek your will in all we do and say. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Pastor Barnes, thank you again for being here this evening. We appreciate your time. And thank you for your words. We will go on to item number 5 on the agenda, City Council meeting minutes of July the 20th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved. Second.
Councilmember Ringsocker, seconded by Councilmember Martin. Questions or comments on the meeting minutes? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. City Council meeting minutes of July 20, 2020 carry 6-0 in the affirmative. Item B, public work session minutes regarding the single concept plan AR 277, which was held on July the 27th, 2020. Do I have a motion to approve the public work session minutes?
So move.
Second.
Councilmember Zinner, seconded by Councilmember Ringsocker. Question or comments on the public work session minutes?
Mr. Mayor, I'll abstain from the vote since I wasn't at the meeting.
Okay, thank you very much, Council President. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Public work session meeting minutes of July 27, 2020, carry 5-0 in the affirmative. We're going to go to item number 6 on this evening's agenda, which is comments from citizens on agenda items. This is the part of the meeting. If there's something that is on this evening's agenda and you wish to speak on it, raise your hand to be recognized. If there's something that is not on the agenda and you're here to speak about other city business, we have a time for that at the end of our meeting under citizen comments. So if anyone wishes to speak on an agenda item, sir, I see your hand raised. Please step forward and identify yourself at the podium. Thank you.
Thank you much, Mr. Mayor. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Again, I'm Christopher Mudd. I'm an attorney with Venable in Towson. I've worked with Mr. Ionella on the single concept plan that is before the council tonight. And I just want to take a brief opportunity to thank each and every one of you for the time, the countless hours that have gone into this effort, to thank Shane Grimm and staff, to thank Ms. Ishak as well for her time, and also to thank Mr. Sample and Mr. Green for all the efforts to bring this before the council tonight. There's certainly been some measure of angst that Mr. Ionella has had throughout this process, and I guess a number of people have had. But we're most thankful of the efforts of everybody to get us to the point where we are today, with assurances from staff and the city attorney and from council members that some of the major issues we had with regard to access and utilities and so forth all seem to be addressed in a way that's reasonable to allow Mr. Ionella to have access, really both vehicular and utility, without much effort or anything else to do with the greens. We seem to be in a good position to do that. We've been assured that the language in the staff report was intended for that purpose, and so we're pleased that we're here tonight on that, in that posture. There's one part of the staff report that I just wanted to perhaps get some clarity on and make note of at the very least of Mr. Ionella's position on it, and that relates to the 5-acre park. There's some timing mechanisms imposed upon performing environmental studies of that park area, which are great, and it all makes good sense. And the final sentence of the paragraph suggests that if there would be an opportunity for potential relocation of that 5 acres at the request of Mr. Green, or the Green family or their developer. And as the council knows, this single concept plan was put together with all the parties, and it was all came forth with everybody in agreement on the general layout, including where the uses were. So it's important for Mr. Ionella and his partners as they move forward to understand what that park is going to, where that park is going to be. If it happens to be in that location, that's excellent, it's great. If it happens that it's going to move for some reason, he just requests an ability to be part of that discussion and that the discretion not be left with just the Green family. And if we are to understand that any substantive change to this single concept plan is something that would have to be brought before the council, and that's Mr. Ionella's opportunity to participate, that's fine. That there's been some discussion throughout this process that this is just the beginning, and we understand that, and that changes may come back before this council. So we just wanted to be on record as a point of clarity with regard to that, to make sure that there's an opportunity for Mr. Ionella to participate in any issues related to the park going forward. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much. Any other member of the audience wish to be recognized to speak on public comments? Any comments from the council? Sir, Councilmember Ringsager.
Sir, Mr. Mudd, if I could respond, I did speak with Mr. Ionella the other day and assured him that it is also included in the staff report on that specific phrase, that specific paragraph. It ends with the approval of the city. It would have to come before the Planning Commission, and as always, citizens do have the opportunity to be part of that discussion at the Planning Commission, to present at the Planning Commission, to voice any concerns there. He would just by default have the ability to, but definitely going on record, we'll take that in consideration. I do thank you for your concern.
Thank you, Councilmember Ringsager. Any other questions from the council, sir?
I just want to go on record for the citizens to let them know that this single concept plan basically, as was submitted, meets the requirements of AR 277. really, the goal was to provide a shell moving forward. And as we get further along in the process, the really details of any development will be worked out in the future public works agreements and the site plans. And so this is a shell moving forward to get us off the dime and say, for you guys, longer way to dream finally comes true, so.
Thank you, Council President. Any further questions or comments from council under public comments? Okay, excellent. We will move on the agenda to item number 7. We have appointments. We have several appointments this evening to several different commissions. So let's see here. What we'll do, since there's multiple commissions, is we'll do them one at a time. All right, if you don't mind, Council President?
That's fine.
Okay, all right. So we'll start with item A, Board of Appeals, for the reappointment of Mr. Bill Putlin. Council President Glenn?
Yeah, I make a motion for the reappointment of Bill Putlin to the Board of Appeals.
Second.
Okay, Council, I have a motion by Council President, second by Councilmember Martin for the reappointment of Mr. Bill Putlin to the Board of Appeals. Questions or comments? CP?
I just want to state that Bill Putlin's been a long-standing resident of Havre de Grace, went to school at Havre de Grace, and his insight to the Board of Appeals process has been invaluable, and I hope we have council support in his reappointment.
Thank you very much, Council President. Any further questions or comments on Mr. Putlin? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The reappointment of Mr. Bill Putlin to the Board of Appeals carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Item B, Ethics Commission for the appointment of Mr. John Carreri, or reappointment. Councilmember Martin?
Mr. Mayor, Council, I make a motion that John Carreri Jr. be reappointed to the Ethics Commission.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. This is for the reappointment of John Paul Carreri Jr. to the Ethics Commission. Questions or comments? Councilmember Martin?
Mr. Mayor, Council, it's the Honorable John Carreri. He's been a former Havre de Grace council member, former mayor, and currently he's a leadership member of the Havre de Grace Ambulance Corps. He's a longtime resident and lives on the hill of Havre de Grace. He has the heart and soul and trust of the Havre de Grace community. I believe his reappointment would be an outstanding move.
Thank you very much for your words, Councilmember Martin. Any other questions or comments? This is for John Carreri's reappointment to the Ethics Commission. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. John Carreri, you're reappointed to the Ethics Commission. Thank you very much for your service, sir. Item C, Historic Preservation Commission, appointment of Mr. Roger Lee. Sorry, Councilmember Zinner, thank you.
I make a motion to appoint Mr. J. Roger Lee to a vacancy on the Historic Preservation Commission.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Zinner. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments? Yes.
Yes, I'd just like to thank Mr. Lee for volunteering to be on the commission and just talk a little bit about his qualifications as a new member. He is also a current member of the Havre de Grace Historic Preservation Foundation. So he will be joining us on the commission as well. Mr. Lee has a BA and an MA in art history and architecture and 30 hours working towards his doctorate. He was the supervisor of assessments and taxation for the state of Maryland in Baltimore County, supervising a large staff, and has 35 years' experience with that department. He has taught many courses in art history and architecture, plus real estate appraising. He was a certified real estate appraiser for the state of Maryland and the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. So we welcome his experience on the commission.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Zinner. Any other questions or comments? This is for the appointment, Mr. Lee. The Historic Preservation Commission, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Mr. Lee is appointed to the Historic Preservation Commission by a vote of 6-0 in the affirmative. And Mr. Lee, since this is an appointment, not a reappointment, as soon as I'm done with the item number 7 on the agenda, I'll swear you in to your office if you don't mind. Make it official. Thank you. We're gonna go item D, Street and Street Traffic and Safety Commission, Councilmember Boyer.
Oh, here's my notes. I make a motion that we reappoint Cheryl Coleman to the Street and Traffic Safety.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by the Council President, for the reappointment of Ms. Cheryl Coleman to the Street Traffic and Safety Commission. Questions or comments? Councilmember Boyer?
I've known Ms. Cheryl for a very long time now. I used to work with her at Aberdeen Proving Ground. Her passion and her dedication to the community, unsurmountable. She brings a different perspective to the Street and Traffic Safety Commission that we absolutely need, and we need more of in more of our commissions. So I strongly encourage everyone to vote for her. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words, Councilmember Boyer. Any other questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The reappointment of Ms. Cheryl Coleman to the Street and Traffic Safety Commission carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Item E, Tourism Advisory Board, the reappointment of Mr. Ron Browning. Councilmember Martin.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I move to reappoint Ron Browning to the Tourism Advisory Board.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Martin, seconded by Councilmember Zenner, for the reappointment of Mr. Ron Browning to the Tourism Advisory Board. Questions or comments on Mr. Browning? Councilmember Martin.
Again, he's another citizen who's volunteered on numerous other commissions, and his position on and representation of the lodging industry is important to have for the Tourism Advisory Board.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Martin. Any further questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The reappointment of Mr. Ron Browning to the Tourism Advisory Board carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Item F, Tree Commission, the reappointment of Mr. Kirk Smith. Councilmember Boyer.
I make a motion that we reappoint Kirk Smith to the Tree Commission.
Second.
Sorry. Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Boyer, seconded by Councilmember Ringsacker. Questions or comments on Mr. Smith? Councilmember Boyer.
Just want to say that, again, Kurt is another person very passionate about this issue. But as much as he knows a lot about trees and, of course, mushrooms, he also brings another perspective to the commission that's very helpful, and that's his experience with technology and the use of different software programs. So he's a great advocate and resource for us on the commission. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your words. Any other questions or comments on Mr. Smith? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. The reappointment of Mr. Smith to the Tree Commission carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Thank you very much, Council. We're going to go to item 8, but I'm going to interject something real quick. I got a text from a very trusted person, my wife, who just said, it sounds very muffled at home with the face mask on. So if you don't mind, maybe pulling them down if you're comfortable with that. She says you can't hear people talk too well. Maybe the people in the audience can, but. What's that? Okay. So if you're comfortable with this pulling your face mask down and talking, put it back on. That's all. This will make sure people at home can hear us. Okay. So we're going to go to item 8, Maryland Municipal League.
Oath of office.
Yes, thank you very much. I forgot about that. That's what you, okay. My chief of staff was pointing at me. I didn't realize he was pointing at me. Okay. Mr. Lee, can you join me? And your lovely bride, if she wishes to join you, who's already on the Historic Preservation Commission. And Councilmember Zinner, would you like to join us too?
Sure.
Team effort.
Italian American.
What's your time to join the Historic Preservation Commission, and I know wife has been a big hand in it. Lost a couple members just through some retirement, people doing other things, and I know from your background and especially from your credentials that you'll be an extreme plus on that commission. I'm very happy to have you. So, what I'm going to do, Councilmember Zero, if you don't mind staying over here real quick. and just kind of hold it right there. So, Mr. Lee, what I'm doing is I'm going to ask you to, you go by John or Roger? I can't remember. Roger, okay, I thought so. I'm going to ask you to raise your right hand, and I'm going to say the word I. When I say the word I, you say the word I, but also. Okay? I
I, John Roger Lee,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will fulfill the requirement
that I will fulfill the requirement
for the office I'm about to assume,
of the office I'm about to,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
I will be faithful and bear true allegiance
to the state of Maryland,
to the state of Maryland,
support the laws,
support the laws,
and Constitution thereof,
and Constitution thereof,
that I will faithfully and impartially,
that I will faithfully and impartially,
without fear of favor or prejudice,
without fear of favor or prejudice,
discharge the duties
discharge the duties
of a member of the Havre Historic Preservation Commission
member of the Havre Grace Historic Preservation
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Thank you so much. We appreciate it. You mind stepping over here with me real quick? And you. And everyone that volunteers for the city, I'd like to present with the city flag for your time and our appreciation for all your service. So, thank you very much, and thank you for all you do. I'm glad you were able to drag him out with you. So, we're very happy to have the two of you on Historic Preservation Commission. We look forward to working with you.
Thank you very much.
Gotcha. Councilmember Zimmer? Okay, item 8. We have a recognition for a very young officer who's our lieutenant here in the city of Havre de Grace. Quick background, there is an organization called MML. MML stands for Maryland Municipal League, and the 157 towns in the state of Maryland belong to this organization. It's how municipalities share information, share resources, educate elected officials, educate city employees. Every year they have a conference in June down at Ocean City Convention Center. So the Maryland Municipal League is a great resource for municipalities. It also is a good resource for law enforcement as well. And we had a officer achieve the top 5 rankings for outstanding police officer, from the Maryland Municipal League Police Executive Association. But unfortunately, rather than going down in June to receive his proper awards and acclamations, because of COVID, the convention was canceled. And this officer is well known in the city of Havre de Grace. He's our only lieutenant in Havre de Grace, and we are very proud of him, and we want to give him a few minutes to be recognized since he wasn't able to be recognized down in Ocean City this year. And I'm going to call forward Chief Walter and the recipient, Lieutenant Humphreys.
Dave. MMO, go.
All right, thank you. I've asked for Councilmember Boyer to join me since she's the chair of the Public Safety Commission. So,
Dave Martin's going to join you too.
what's that?
Dave Martin's going to join you too from MMO.
Oh, yep, absolutely. Street traffic safety and public, gotcha, okay. Gotta keep my committees and commissions straight, sorry about that. So, Lieutenant Humphreys, thank you so much for being here this evening. The chief told me all about your award. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to hand this off to the chief, and she's going to give a little more detailed background about how great you are. And your friends here with you tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. If I could also have Officer Coleman just take off your mask. You can stay where you are, just take off your mask. And Lieutenant Humphrey, if you could take off your mask real quick. I met Lieutenant Humphrey, it's probably been over 25, almost 30 years ago. At the time I was working at the Sheriff's Office, and we were assigned to a detail down here in Havre de Grace to assist Havre de Grace with some different projects. And the first time I met Lieutenant Humphrey, he was actually Auxiliary Officer Humphrey. And I like to tell this story because the day he not graduated, but retired from the military, because he served in the military, he served in the Army, that night he became a police officer for the city of Havre de Grace. Now, I tell you the story also because when I met him 25, 30 years ago, he looked like Officer Coleman did. and Officer Coleman, be afraid. Be very, very afraid. Because this is what you might end up looking like. No.
As long as you didn't look like Officer Dalton.
Thank you for thank you for entertaining me, Jared. So now, in all seriousness, Lieutenant Humphrey has been a phenomenal person. He absolutely is a very good ambassador for our police department. I think everybody in the city of Havre de Grace knows Lieutenant Humphrey or has known Lieutenant Humphrey, or their kids now know Lieutenant Humphrey, because usually whenever I'm walking foot patrol or at a special event, first thing I get is not, hey, Chief, how you doing? It's like, hey, where's Humphrey? You know, so he has done a phenomenal job throughout the years, and we felt it was deserving of him getting this recognition. But yeah, unfortunately, the COVID did put a kibosh on a lot of the different conferences and that type of thing. But we do appreciate Maryland Municipal League Police Executive Association still sending us the certificate and recognizing him for his years of service, and also for the years of service, or the last year, 2019.
Well, thank you, Chief. Appreciate the background. And I'm going to hand this microphone to Lieutenant Humphreys and see if you have anything you want to say about your experience with the Havre de Grace Police Department and what it means to you.
Oh, my. Thank you, Chief, for putting up with me. I remember those walks in the projects. Citizens are great. They've been good to me. Hopefully, I've been good to them. The officers, outstanding. None better.
Hey, that was fantastic. Well, Lieutenant, I just want to read this Maryland Municipal League Police Executive Association award into the record real quick, as real brief. Maryland Municipal League Police Executive Association recognizes Lieutenant Everett Humphrey for his outstanding performance and significant contributions to the citizens of Havre de Grace in 2019, which serves to exemplify the high standard in law enforcement profession. And it gives me an honor to give this to you because I know what a big deal Maryland Municipal League is and how many other officers there are throughout the state of Maryland. And for you to make the top 5, as the chief told me, that's pretty darn impressive. And I'd like to present this to you. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Officers, have a great evening. Thank you very much for being here. We'll see you, Lieutenant. Thank you. Officer Dalton, we'll see you later.
Oh, yeah, photographer.
Oh, we have a photographer, okay. Sorry about that. I'm not sure if we have one or
Make sure you smile.
Say cheese. Yeah, say cheese.
What was her reason?
Huh?
What'd she say?
Her patch is different because of the storm coming in. It's a different.
What?
It's a different BDU.
Like the blue ones.
Okay, we're going to go to item number 9, proclamations. This evening, we have no proclamations. Item 10, presentations. There are no presentations this evening. And we're going to get down to item 11, resolutions. We have 3 resolutions this evening. Got enough water to drink there, Councilman Ringside?
Oh, yeah, I'm on here a lot. I just have,
These 3 resolutions and 3 ordinances are all you.
my mask is flannel and I have fabric all over my face. So just give me a second. Oh. So,
Okay, Councilmember Ringside, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go with item A, annexation calendar resolution concerning the single concept plan for annexation charter resolution 277. Sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce an annex calendar resolution concerning single concept plan for annexation charter resolution 277, Green Ionella Patron Properties.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilman Ringsager, seconded by the Council President. This is a motion to introduce a annexation resolution. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce an annexation resolution carries 6-0 in the affirmative. I'm going to read the header for this annexation resolution, assign it a number, and then we'll do the final adoption and any comments. Annexation calendar resolution concerning single concept plan for annexation charter resolution 277, the Green Ionella Patron Properties. A resolution by the Mayor and City Council of Havre, Grace, Maryland, pursuant to Article 11E of the Maryland Constitution, the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and the City Charter, Sections 33 and 34, to approve a single concept plan for the Green Ionella Patron Properties as required by the Annexation Resolution 277 as amended. This is Resolution 2020-16. Council, do I have a motion to adopt this resolution?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Ringsacher, seconded by the Council President. Questions or comments? Councilman Ringsacher.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is something our planning department has been working very diligently on for quite a while. I myself have had several meetings. This resolution is seeking an adoption of the single concept plan as submitted for the Green, Ionella, and Patron properties up on top of the hill. The planning department did submit their staff report to accompany it. We had a council work session that worked through all the questions that we had, and I pray a favorable vote to pass this along. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Ringsacher. Any other questions or comments? Okay, Council, I'll take a roll call on Resolution 2020-16. Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Zinner.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsacher.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, Annexation Calendar Resolution 2020-16 is adopted. Thank you very much, Council. We're going to go down to item B, Annexation Calendar Resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway. Councilmember Ringsacher.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce an annexation calendar resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsacher. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Robertson. This is a motion to introduce an annexation resolution. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
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 All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce the annexation calendar resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway carries 6-0 in the affirmative on the introduction. I will read the header into the record. This is going to be Resolution 2020-17. A resolution by the City Council of Havre, Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of the Maryland Constitution, Article 11E, and the provisions of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Local Government Article Section 4-405, and City Charter Section 34, adopting an annexation plan for the lands of 1748 Pulaski Highway consisting of 2 parcels for a total of 1.5688 acres, more or less. Council, do I have a motion to adopt Resolution 2020-17?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Ringsacker, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Question or comments on the resolution? Councilmember Ringsacker.
Mr. Mayor, this annexation calendar resolution is a resolution to adopt the annexation plan for the parcel of, it's actually 2 parcels totaling 1.5688 acres along Pulaski Highway. It has minimal impact on our infrastructures with 0 impact on our schools.
Thank you very much for your comments, Councilmember Ringsacker. Any other questions or comments? Council President.
I think there's one change on the acreage, right? To the city attorney. On parcel 2, it says designated as lot .3188 acres. Further down, it says .03188. I just want to make sure that
Yep.
changes in the books.
Yes, we're going to correct that.
Okay.
And
Well,
also,
that's all I
I
have.
just noticed there's one other typo on the first page. Line 36, consisting is missing a G.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms. Zishak. Any further comments, Council President?
That's good for me.
Okay. Councilmember Boyer.
Just for the purposes of clarity for the audience and for the people at home, what is the process for annexation? There's 2 pieces of legislation tonight, so can we explain it just very succinctly?
The procedure? We have 2 procedures. One is a process can be moved legislatively by the city council, which is what we're doing with this one, because it's basically a single parcel, 2 pieces, but 1 owner, and they're seeking to just add in a property they own, and it adjoins another property they own. So it's simpler to just have the city do it legislatively. The other process is by petition, which some parties choose to do it that way. Especially, that works generally better for the larger parcels where you might have multiple parties joining in. So, and that's set forth in our city code.
Just process-wise, so they request, and then there's 2 different pieces of legislation. Explain that.
Oh, okay, so first, under state law, we have to adopt an annexation plan, which is a regular calendar resolution, which is 2017, which is the one we're looking at now. And then the second piece of that is a charter annexation resolution. And what that does is it will amend our charter to include the expanded boundaries of the city. So that piece of it gets approved also by the city council vote. However, that is subject to legislatively imposed notice requirements and public hearing requirements. And so that takes a little longer to get approved. But basically, after the required public notice, it's basically effective 45 days after the public hearing. So that one takes longer to become effective. We also have to notify certain county and state agencies that we're going forward with the annexation, and they sign off on it as well.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Zishak. Thank you, Councilmember Boyer. Any further questions or comments before I call the roll? Okay, this is for Resolution 2020-17, annexation of 1748 Pulaski Highway. Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsacker.
Yes.
Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Zinner.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, annexation counter resolution 2020-17 is adopted. Item C, annexation charter resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway, first reading. Councilmember Ringsacker.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I make a motion to introduce for first reading an annexation charter resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsacker, seconded by Councilmember Zinner. This is a motion to introduce a annexation charter resolution. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce annexation charter resolution concerning 1748 Pulaski Highway carries 6-0 in the affirmative. I will read the header into the record. Council, this is going to be annexation charter resolution number 289. 289. A resolution by the Mayor and City Council of Havre de Grace, Maryland, adopted pursuant to the authority of the Maryland Constitution, Article 11E, and the provisions of the Annotated Code of Maryland, Local Government, Article Subtitle 3, Amendment or Repeal of Charter and Government Article Subtitle 3. Amendment or repeal of charter and, sorry, I need glasses. Amendment or repeal of charter and government subtitle 3, subtitle 4, annexation of authorized and legislative body of a municipality to annex property extending the boundaries of municipality upon a petition for annexation and amending the city charter, specifically Appendix A of the Havre de Grace Charter by adding subsection A35, the second 2020 addition to the city boundaries, along with a legal description of the acres of land which will enlarge the boundaries of the city of Havre de Grace to include the land of 1748 Pulaski Highway, consisting of 2 parcels for a total of 1.5688 acres, more or less. Council, I have a motion to adopt annexation charter resolution 289.
So moved.
Second. Motion by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments? Councilmember Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, as so well described by our city attorney, this is us amending our charter to expand the boundaries of the city. The city will notify the Department of Planning, the Department of Planning will notify the county and state Department of Planning in accordance with the state land use article as required by law. So as described, the previous annexation calendar resolution was to adopt the plan. This resolution is to amend the charter.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Councilmember Ringsager. Any other questions or comments? Ms.
Mayor,
Ishak.
there's a 2-week publication period, so any public hearing would have to account for that.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? Okay, I'm gonna call the roll. Councilmember Martin,
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer,
Oh, yes.
Councilmember Robertson,
Yes.
Councilmember Zinner,
Yes.
Council President Glenn,
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsager.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, annexation charter resolution number 289 is adopted on first reading. We need a public hearing, CP, correct?
Right, but based upon what the city attorney said, we have to defer to the first meeting in September?
It would depend on when we can get the publications in. Director of Administration would know that. How long does it take to get the publication for 2 weeks?
We can do both publications, and, yeah, it would have to be at least the first meeting in September. No sooner than that.
Right. I would say we shoot for the first meeting in September, get it moving forward,
All right,
7 PM.
that would be... That'd be Tuesday, May 8th, right?
No,
Not
September.
May.
September.
September 8th, sorry about that. There we go, oh, there, September. Sorry about that, yeah.
We feel confident we meet the time limitations for that, correct?
Correct. I think we'll be able to get the notice out pretty quickly. It's pretty standard.
Okay.
September 8th, all right. Tuesday, September 8th will be the first meeting in September, so. Is that good, everybody?
Good.
All right. Public hearing, 9/8. Okay, excellent. Okay, we're gonna move on to ordinances. This evening, we have 3 ordinances.
Do we still need to vote?
What's that?
Do we still need to vote on it? Or did we already vote?
We already did the vote.
Couldn't remember.
Yeah, you voted yes.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, it's all a blur. It's like my name's all over the page.
It's not a problem. I know there's a lot of carnage all over your page there with ink and stuff because you're doing all these ordinances. Okay. No, you're good. No, you
All
voted
right.
yes on that one. Okay, we're gonna go to item number 12, ordinances. We have 3 ordinances, and we're gonna hand this off to Councilmember Ringsager, ordinance 1037, second reading.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce an ordinance 1037 concerning sustainable landscaping for second reading.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Martin. This is a motion introduced on second reading, ordinance 1037. Questions or comments on the introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance 1037 on second reading carries 6-0 in the affirmative. 1037 is an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Havre de Grace pursuant to the authority provided by the Maryland Constitution, Article 11E, the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and the City Charter, Sections 33 and 34, by creating Chapter 102, Sustainable Landscaping Regulations, in order to establish landscaping standards for new development and redevelopment in the city. Council, I have a motion to adopt 1037.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments before I do the roll call vote? Councilmember Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, as stated before in the header, this establishes landscaping standards only for new developments and redevelopment within the city, gives certain forestation and reforestation requirements using native species, et cetera.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Ringsager. Any other questions or comments? Councilmember Zinner.
I just want to reiterate the comments I made the night it was introduced and thank Mr. Shane for all the hard work that he did on this ordinance. And I think it will do so much to improve the landscape of the city as a whole and the continuity and the standards. And I really appreciate the work that's been done on this.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Zinner. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Roll call vote. Ordinance 1037 on second reading. Councilmember Robertson.
Aye.
Councilmember Zinner.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsager.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, ordinance 1037 is adopted on second reading by the council. Thank you very much. We will go on to item B, ordinance 1038, concerning forest conservation, second reading. Councilmember Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, I'd like to introduce an ordinance 1038 concerning forest conservation for second reading.
Second.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Martin. This is a motion to introduce on second reading, ordinance 1038. Questions or comments on the introduction of this ordinance? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say nay. Motion to introduce ordinance 1038 on second reading carries 6-0 in the affirmative. This will be an ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Havre de Grace pursuant to the authority provided by the Maryland Constitution, Article 11E, the Local Government Article of the Annotated Code of Maryland and City Charter, Sections 33 and 34, amending the City Code, Chapter 81, Forest Conservation, Article 10, payment instead of afforestation and reforestation, and Article 16, Annual Report. Council, do I have a motion to adopt 1038 on second reading?
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsager. Was it Councilmember Boyer? Councilmember Boyer seconded. Questions or comments on 1038? Councilmember Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is an attempt from our planning department to bring the city code up to meet the current requirements of the state DNR Forest Service for forestation, afforestation, and reforestation. And they set the fees in lieu of reforestation and reporting. It's a lot of stuff to take in, but basically we're meeting the state requirements from the DNR.
Okay,
I have to offer.
thank you for the summary, Councilmember Ringsager. Any other questions or comments? Okay. Roll call vote on 1038. Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Zinner.
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsager.
Yes.
Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, ordinance 1038 concerning forest conservation is adopted on second reading. Item C, an ordinance concerning adequate public facilities. First reading, Councilmember Ringsager.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to introduce for first reading an ordinance concerning adequate public facilities.
Council, I have a motion by Councilmember Ringsager. Do I have a second?
Second.
Seconded by Councilmember Zinner. This is a motion to introduce an ordinance on first reading. Questions or comments on this introduction? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Motion to introduce an ordinance on first reading concerning adequate public facilities carries 6-0 in the affirmative. Council, this is going to be ordinance 1040. An ordinance of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Havre de Grace pursuant to the authority provided by the Maryland Constitution, Article 11E, the local government article of the Annotated Code of Maryland, and the City Charter Sections 33 and 34, by establishing adequate public facilities, standards for schools, roads, and water and sewer infrastructure. Do I have a motion to adopt 1040 on first reading?
So moved.
Second.
Motion to adopt by Councilmember Ringsager, seconded by Councilmember Robertson. Questions or comments on the vote for first reading? Sir.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this is something that's been in the pipeline for quite some time from our planning department. In fact, our planning committee was, I think, late winter, we actually held it. This basically establishes adequacy standards for schools, roads, water and sewer, to bring us consistent with other jurisdictions, to make sure that future development has roads that are wide enough, that they're taking into consideration school capacity, that they're making sure that they're building sewer lines that are big enough to sustain their neighborhood and any future downline development, stuff like that. So Shane and the rest of the planning department have been working very diligently on this, and I think it's something the city has been lacking for quite a while, and it will hopefully sustain us for many years, give us adequate standards to make sure that we have foresight in our planning.
Thank you very much for the summary, Councilmember Ringsager.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions or comments?
I
Councilmember
have
Zinner.
I have a question that I don't need answered this evening, but because I think it'll take a little bit of research. My only concern, I think it's a great idea, I think it's a great plan. My only concern was in, with the school situation in terms of the 110% capacity. And I don't know that we know what the development picture is going to look like in the next few years, and I'm not sure that, I don't know, and I had asked the question when I did the tour, but I didn't get an answer at the time, was what's our capacity at the school, at the new high school and middle school? Where are we today with that capacity? And then how can we extrapolate that out to future growth in terms of future development with available land that we have in infill lots? Just a question.
Okay. Anyone take a stab at it?
Not at this time.
Okay.
As you said, something we'll work on.
Okay.
Okay.
In my prior experience, that's a battle we tend not to win. I mean, I know that we renovated Meadowvale Elementary School. The day the renovation was complete, we were over capacity. And they don't look at, they don't give you a lot of credit for future developments, what you think's going to happen. You know, it has to be what's really on the plate at that time. So knowing that the new school is going to bring future growth to Havre de Grace, we in all likelihood will be over capacity, and we'll just have to play it by ear as it goes on. But I know in the past, when I was fighting the battle with the school system, it was just, I was running up against a brick wall. So.
Thank you, Council President. Any other questions or comments on ordinance 1040? Roll call vote. Councilmember Boyer.
Yes.
Councilmember Zinner.
Yes.
Councilmember Martin.
Yes.
Council President Glenn.
Yes.
Councilmember Robertson.
Yes.
Councilmember Ringsager.
Yes.
By roll call vote of 6-0 in the affirmative, ordinance 1040 is adopted on first reading. And Council President, would you be okay with having a public hearing on August 17th?
August 17th, 7 p.m.
Okay, excellent. Public hearing, August 17th at 7 p.m., also known as our next council meeting. Okay. Thank you very much, Council. And Councilmember Ringsager, I appreciate all your work. I know the 3 resolutions and 3 ordinances were in your wheelhouse with the Planning Department. I commend the Planning Department, along with Director Grimm, for working diligently on getting some of these items taken care of, and all the other members of council for brushing up. I know you guys had a lot of reading to do to get ready for this meeting, so I want to thank everybody for all your hard work. Thank you, Councilmember Ringsager. Okay, we're going to move on to old business. This evening, we have no old business. We have no new business, item 14. Item 15, Director's Reports. We're going to start off with the Director of Administration, Mr. Patrick Seipolt. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, good evening, Council, and good evening, citizens. On behalf of the entire administration, I'd like to offer our sincere congratulations to all the standing members reappointed to their respective commissions and boards, and to our newest member. You have our commitment in assisting you in your various roles and with any questions you may have in performance of your tasks and duties. The city was recently recognized as a silver awardee as a business having established worksite wellness practices and workplace health improvement plans that include a majority of strategy types. This award was given to us by the Healthiest Maryland Businesses Wellness at Work Awards program. It recognizes Maryland businesses and organizations that are committed to improving employee health and well-being. So what's workplace wellness? Well, we spend approximately a third of our, we spend more than 8 hours a day, 5 days a week at work. And workplace wellness translates into eating right, getting up, stretching, taking care of yourself so we don't become these things behind a desk that can't move. And also holding each other accountable. It encourages people to maintain routine physicals, getting checkups, proper lifting techniques, looking out for each other, holding each other accountable. And so what happens is wellness then becomes generates an awareness towards safety. While employers have a responsibility that we do to provide a safe and hazard-free workplace, they also have an abundant opportunity to promote individual health and foster a better environment for our employees. There's more than 3 million workers in Maryland who were trying to reach out and improve their overall quality of life. So what does this translate into? If you're healthy, you tend to be a happier employee. You tend to do your work in a more safe manner. You have your health care overall for the city, like our insurances tend to go down, not just then on workers' comp claims and injuries, but then also for medical, and it transcends down even through the families. If your spouse or partner tends to be more conscious and aware of their environment, then it tends to transcend to other members in your family group. So it's a win-win-win. People come to work more. They're out. They're not sick as often. So, and especially during these times now that we're practicing these COVID-19 precautions. So it's a real testament to the efforts really by Chris Ritchie leading our cause. Chris Ritchie is our health officer, HR, deputy director of administration, whatever. He's kind of like a kitchen sink. He does a lot with his background from Upper Chesapeake, and really getting this program back up and running, and it's resonating well amongst the employees, and the city benefits from it. So hats off to Chris and to all of our city employees that got us this silver award. On some housekeeping, there will be an administrative committee meeting on Wednesday, August 5th, beginning at 4:30, right here in the council chambers. Purpose of the meeting will be to discuss an amendment to City Charter number 99, which creates an incentive, concerns itself with the creation of an incentive program for the conversion of multifamily dwellings and/or offices back to single family in designated geographic areas within the city. And then lastly, but not least, Saturday and every Saturday, it's the farmers market. It continues in fine fashion at Hutchins Park. They're open every Saturday, rain or shine, from now until mid-November. The market opens at 8:30 a.m. and runs until noon. Please remember, however, to maintain your social distancing, and as required by the governor, wear a mask, or as you see here, this stylish face shield when you go and patronize the market. If you miss any of these announcements, please visit our websites at explorehavredegrace.com, hdgoperahouse.org for a complete listing of any events and/or notices if and when they come into fruition. That'll conclude my remarks for this evening.
Mr. Seipel, thank you very much for the updates. And we're going to move to Mr. Shane Grimm, who's our Director of Planning. Good evening, Mr. Grimm.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and council members. Bear with me, I do have a lot to talk about tonight. I'll try to make it quick, though. First, I do want to read something from Ms. Phyllis Friedman regarding the annexation at 1748 Pulaski Highway. Ms. Friedman was unable to attend this evening, but she does write, "Please extend our apologies to the Havre de Grace Council for not being in attendance this evening when our request for annexation of our parcel at 1748 Pulaski Highway is introduced. We really wanted to be there, but due to the circumstances of COVID-19, we felt that the more prudent course would be not to attend, as an extra precaution to limit exposure. As part-time residents of Havre de Grace, as well as self-storage owners for over 35 years, we look forward to being able to express our appreciation in person for all the work everyone does to make Havre de Grace such a great place, and we thank you for consideration of our proposal. Lewis and Phyllis Friedman, owners and founders of Stack and Storage Self-Storage. Thank you for introducing that this evening, and thank you to the city attorney for all her work on getting that prepared and ready for council this evening. I did want to take the opportunity to commend council for all their work that they've done in the last 2 years, working with me to bring the city code up to a level with other jurisdictions relating to whether it be landscaping or adequate public facilities or just adoption of new rules and procedures, and like the sign code that we did last year. So we're really making a lot of progress with updating the code, and I continue to look forward to do that and working with all you in the future. And if there's anything that you would like the planning department to address, I certainly would work with any of you so that we can do that. So I will continue to do that moving forward. Specifically, I'd like to thank you for passing the sustainable landscaping ordinance tonight. That will go a long way to ensuring that new developments that come into the city, whether they be residential or commercial, will have to provide landscaping that will be sustainable and native and really add to the attractiveness and aesthetics of the city, and will be coordinated throughout the city and consistent. I'd also like to take an opportunity to thank Mr. Joe Kay for the time that he spent with me to discuss the sustainable landscaping ordinance. I do feel like I need to apologize to him somewhat because I may have gotten a little frustrated and our conversation may have gotten a little tense, but Joe certainly brings a lot of knowledge to the table, and we certainly had a spirited discussion, and I believe that Joe understands the necessity for this ordinance, and I thank him for his continuing dedication to the city and for his support and always meeting with me to tell me that I'm missing a period, a comma, spelled something wrong, and all that stuff. Also, would like to thank Councilwoman Boyer for meeting with me along with the Tree Commission to go over the ordinance and make sure that it had everything in there that they thought was appropriate, and also Councilman Ringsacker for working with me on this as well. It's a well-needed ordinance, and it'll go a long way. And I also look forward to speaking with all of you about the adequate public facilities ordinance. That is very important, and I suggest that you all take the time to read it and understand it because it is very technical, and I'm happy at any time to meet with you to discuss that and address any concerns or comments that you may have. I'll make myself available at any time. Also wanted to thank you for passing the Green Ionella Patron concept plan. Many, many months of work went into that, and many hours of discussion and frustration. But I believe that through all the work and efforts of the administration, the city attorney, council, Department of Planning, and the Planning Committee and the Planning Commission, we've got to a point that the parties can move forward and develop their properties as they desire. It's taken a long time, but it's time to move on. It's time to get down to the work of preparing plans that have concrete details and really show us what the developers want to do with the properties. And I surely hope that they will continue to work with us in a spirit of collaboration so that we get the best projects that the city can have and really showcase the city. So I look forward to seeing those plans and working with Mr. Green and his developer and Mr. Ionella and his developer. And hopefully at the end of the projects, we'll be very proud of what the city has done and what the developers have done. As far as development in the city, Mr. Doherty will be happy to know that we have received 3 new permits in Bully Rock. So we'll be adding to our Fund 9. And I only see that increasing and more new development and more new homes being constructed over the coming months with more projects coming online. With that being said, I also want to let you know that we do have some Planning Commission and Board of Appeals scheduled. I would suggest that if you want to see the dates on those, look online. I apologize, I don't have the dates in front of me, but we do have those online. Tomorrow night we have a Planning Commission meeting to discuss the sign code variance at the Harbor Shops for the emergency urgent care there. I will note that we are playing the weather by ear, and that I have spoken with the attorney for the applicant and also the chairman, Volney Ford, and we've decided that we'll make a final call at 3 p.m. tomorrow whether or not it's appropriate for us to hold the Planning Commission. The good news is we have a Planning Commission meeting scheduled for next week, next Monday, so we can take that and put it on the schedule for next week. So we'll just have 2 items on the agenda for next week, and then the next Thursday, the Board of Appeals will hear that sign code variance as well. So lots of things coming up in front of the Planning Commission and Board, and certainly if you have any questions about any of those projects, I'm happy to discuss those with you. So the good news is we're busy and we're continuing along, and I'd just like to thank you for your patience with my long-winded comments this evening, but I certainly appreciate your support, and the Department of Planning appreciates the support from Council. Thank you, sir.
Mr. Grimm, thank you. Your comments reminded me of an Academy Award recipient. And rightly so. Like I said, you've done a lot of work to get all the legislation on the agenda this evening. Some took a couple weeks, some took a couple years. And so again, I thank you very much. As I said to Councilmember Ringsacker and the Planning Committee earlier, it's a team effort, but your department is definitely the driver behind it, and all the meetings and all the emails back and forth and proposals and try this and try that. It all came together tonight. So again, thank you for your comments. Any council members have a question for Mr. Grimm? Sir.
I don't have any questions, just comments. Mr. Grimm, your door has always been open for me, and I appreciate that. And you know, being a council person isn't a 9-to-5 job; it's a 24-hour day job. And you always answer the phone. And I try to tell you that no, I'll call you on Monday, and you insist that I call you with 24 hours a day if I have a question. And yesterday, I think you were at the pool or something when I called you. Just to discuss questions about, you know, some of the legislation. You made me work. But it's been quite a pleasure working with you and your department, and you guys have definitely earned your keep. And I appreciate you working for the city and your department. And you guys are a great asset to the city.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Grimm.
Have a good evening.
You too, sir. Thank you. I'd like to call forward Ms. Erica Quisenberry Sturgill, our Director of Economic Development. Good evening. How are things going economically?
We're trying to stay busy. So I've got a report for you tonight on some of the funding that has gone out. As we reported last month, over 125 businesses and nonprofit organizations were recipients of PPP loans and grant funds, and an additional 95 received COVID CARES grant funding through EIDL, which is the Economic Injury Disaster Loan Program through the state or the county, with SBA or Small Business Administration assistance. An additional $100,000 was also distributed through the Maryland Department of Commerce, with our regional business representative, Bridget Peters, sharing that a number of our restaurants, medical offices, property management, hospitality, retail, and artisan businesses were awarded this funding from the Department of Commerce. Now, despite the COVID-19 pandemic, we have seen a significant uptick in new businesses opening in Havre de Grace, although this has necessarily negated the ability to hold ribbon cuttings and grand openings due to restrictions on the number of people allowed to participate in social distancing. But this weekend, HM's Reptifibians opened at 407 South Juniata Street, formerly home to a driver's training school between the Royal Farm Store and Wilhelm Automotive. The proprietor, Denise Buchanan, has been a vendor at the frequent reptile shows at the Havre de Grace Community Center. She's a longtime Havre de Gracian and my high school co-graduate from the Cobras at Hartford Votech. This weekend, a number of scaly and furry creatures made their way home from the shop to new homes. They are a small exotic pet store with amphibians, reptiles, and small animals, as well as food and supplies for these animals. A long-felt need in Havre de Grace was met in a unique way once Bruce Clark and Larapin Catering took over the Larapin at the Boatyard at 723 Water Street, which is a part of the River City Public House, which remains open at 209 North Washington Street. So we have crabs and dining out on the waterfront here in Havre de Grace once again. We've welcomed 5-Star Studio, Salon, and Barbershop to 107 North Washington Street between Boxa Mexa Taqueria and La Cucina Restaurant. The proprietors, Adrian and Chiara Roman, opened in July, offering hairstyling, barber and shave services, lash extensions, brow work, waxing, and we'll be adding esthetician services as well. A Taste of the Teal Antler opened 3 doors down at 119 North Washington Street. This is also their second location, the first being on Bridge Street in Elkton. They offer women's clothing and accessories, shoes including Toms, kids items, gift items, jewelry, online sales, discount codes, Swig Life, Bromate, Blender sunglasses, Katie Luxton, and more. Auntie's Tie Care Christian Academy is opening at 204 North Washington Street. It's been vacant for over 12 years, remembered by many as Walton's hardware store. It's a rather extensive exterior renovation improvement on that section of Washington Street, led by Raynetta Dennis, who is the founder of Auntie's Tie Care. They're opening this location offering a homeschool cooperative and private preschool with premier educational services to children ages 2 to 18, including online application. Under the Coming Soon category, we also have the former Sweet Pea Society Learning Center at 349 Fountain Street, which has sat vacant for 5 years. It's been renovated and improved. It's opening soon as Achieving Children Preparatory Smart Care. The word SMART is a core initiative meaning specific, measurable, actionable, realistic, and time-related. More details are expected soon, but the center can be reached at 410-939-CARE. While Flawless Photos Photography, formerly located at 327 St. John Street, is now entirely a home-based business in Havre de Grace. Within 48 hours of their closing downtown, The property was shown, and that weekend a lease was in place. It will be opening soon as My Gossip Girl Consignments under Sabrina Ray Zanino. Client Economic Development's been working with since 2018 to secure a location in downtown Havre de Grace. This is their second location, the first being in Westminster, featuring high-end designer women's clothing, shoes, and accessories on consignment. Mrs. Zanino will be opening soon. The former Sherwin-Williams plant at 1354 Old Post Road or Revolution Street was purchased by Shaw Real Estate, underwent a partial demolition. It's gone from 140,000 square feet to 77,000 square feet with new office and manufacturing, industrial space, new parking lot, striping, plantings, removal of the dilapidated fencing, et cetera. It is currently available for lease, so it's kind of a before and after you can see. And also the ODFC or Kiwi building, which I should have said before the other one, that one has a new owner, improvements have been made. It'll be a commercial, retail, and construction equipment facility, and a vacant lot next door to it will be a new construction company office. And lastly, I wanted to highlight a new public art installation at the Havre de Grace Decoy Museum at 215 Giles Street by artist Matthew Harris, owner of Harris Metalsmith. Mr. Mayor, you were able to meet him in his blacksmith shop and studio to see his beginning phases of this artwork. A traditional blacksmith shop, it's at Principio Furnace in Cecil County. The flying ducks are all hand-forged and are at the entrance of the museum in a newly landscaped area, complete with a wood duck box and yet another little free library for Havre de Grace that has been installed. So it's been a bit of an active time around the city of Havre de Grace with these.
Ms. Quisenberry, thank you so much for the update. Council, any questions for Ms. Quisenberry? Glad to see the old Sweet Pea building get used, or it's back in business. It's been about, my kids went there like a long time ago, but it's been sitting empty for how long, 5 years?
5 years.
Yeah, it's good to see that. So a lot of good things happening. Thank you so much for the update. I'm going to call in the man who's in charge of all the money, Mr. George DeHorty, Director of Finance. You need like an entrance song when you come in.
Not sure which one it would be. But good evening, council, mayor, citizens. The financial report as of the end of July, starting with the general fund. The fund balance is sitting just under 10 million at about 9,950, which is about 750,000 ahead of where we thought we would be at this stage of the game. Most of that can be attributed to the fact that the current rollover balance is about 725,000 ahead of what we thought it would be, but I caution you again, there's still a long way to go before we close the year, and I expect it will drop some. The real property taxes, the billings for the year went out and we're about 160,000 over where we thought we'd be by the budget, so that's very, very encouraging. On the flip side, though, the highway user fees and the personal property taxes are falling a little behind schedule. Highway user fees by about 95,000, which can be attributed to the economic downturn as a result of struggles businesses are having during this tough time with the COVID, and the personal property taxes as well. Although with the Director of Economic Development's report, I expect that will turn around here in the very near future. Fund 9, the fund deficit is sitting at about just under 1,100 at $1,075,000, but it has improved for the year by 355,000, so we're doing well to do it. The operating profit stands at about 485,000. The capital fees that we've collected so far, it's been another 110,000, and we've had our first debt service payment for the year of 240,000 out of Fund 9, which brought it down to the 355 increase, but we're doing well. The Marina Fund is sitting at about 830,000, which is, oh, I forgot to mention for the citizens in the Fund 9 report, we are on pace to hit the market for the borrowing, the Fund 9 borrowing, middle of this month, around the 15th. So that will be coming before we know it. The Marina Fund sits at $830,000. It's down slightly, about $2,000, which is really due to just timing. I don't see anything in the numbers that may lead me to believe we're off schedule in any way, shape, or form with the Marina Fund. And those are the three major funds for this evening. And now if there are any questions, I'll be happy to answer.
Council, any questions for Mr. Doherty?
Thank you.
George, thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Mr. Whitty's not here this evening, so I'd like to call forward Mr. Joe Conaway to represent Department of Public Works. Good evening, Mr. Conaway. Thanks for being with us here.
Mr. Mayor, Council, this will be a short report. On August 17th, Maryland Environmental Service will begin an ionized smoke test. That'll entail about 125 manholes. And there's two areas in town. It'll be the southeast part of town, basically from Congress south to Commerce and Washington east to the river. And then the north end of town, it'll be pretty much where the pump station is on Erie Street, north to 40, Francis, McSpadden, Tidings, and I believe we got Ohio Street and Superior Street also on that. Last one we did, I think, was in 2011. It was in the majority of the other part of town. We found a lot of interesting things that create a lot of problems with our sewers, and my assumption is we'll find probably the same type of stuff again for this test. And tomorrow, our members of the Department of Public Works are ready and prepared for whatever tomorrow brings.
Hopefully just a lot of rain.
Hopefully.
Any questions, Mr. Conway? Sir, thank you very much again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'd like to call forward the Chief of Police, Chief Walter. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I just want to remind everybody about locking their cars, whether they're parked on the street or in their driveway or somewhere on the property, and take any type of property that you might have in those vehicles, whether it be a purse, a laptop, loose change or anything. Please hide them or take them into your house. While we haven't had any rash of vehicles that have been broken into lately, which is always really, really good, but we have had citizens call and say, of course, they have the Ring camera system set up, and they have seen people try the doors of their cars and that type of thing. So once again, I just want to remind everybody, please don't give them the opportunity to take anything out of your car, or even if you do have your car locked, just remove those items out of the vehicle, because again, you don't want them breaking into your car and causing any damage. The other thing, I know the timing is everything, but I also want to remind folks that with the tropical storm coming up, please do not drive through water that's on the roadway that it's high. You don't know what's there, what's not there, current or anything like that, so please do not do that. And then finally, last but not least, I want to thank everybody. We've had a lot of citizens, either anonymously or the fine folks like at Advonic or Chad and Rachel Tate. A lot of folks have expressed their appreciation for our police department and the officers. Thank you, Mr. Glenn, I really do appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor. For everything that you all do, the council for supporting us. We really do appreciate it. And we really do appreciate our citizens. We've got a wonderful community, a wonderful city, and it speaks volumes about our community and the folks in general. So I do want to thank everybody. I do appreciate it.
Couldn't agree with you more, Chief. Thank you very much.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate the comments.
Not a problem.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to go to item 16, which is business from the mayor's office. First thing I want to talk about right now is a COVID-19 update and how it affects the city of Havre de Grace. As you know, the governor last Wednesday had a press conference and issued another round of executive orders from his office. One of the things, most notably, is the increased directives for facial coverings, face masks, especially indoors and outdoors. As you may notice, during this council meeting, we're trying to wear the face mask as best we can while we're up here because of the indoor rule. Even if you're outdoors now and you can't keep social distancing of 6 feet, you need to have a face covering. So the governor is definitely being aggressive with it. He's stronger than the CDC guidelines currently. But I do want to talk about how Havre de Grace is faring with COVID-19. When this all started in March, we went almost about 3 months, March, April, May, and slowly picked up COVID cases in 21078. I think around the end of May, we had about 31 to 33 cases, so about 10 cases a month. We ended July 31st with 86. Today, August 3rd, we're up to 96. Now, on July 1st, there was only 52. So in the month of July alone, we picked up 34 more cases in the 21078 zip code. So what does it tell us, the data? Well, I mean, COVID is here in Havre de Grace now. If you do the math, the odds are when you're walking down the street, there may be someone with COVID that passes you. That's what the math tells us. The cases are picking up. It's very concerning to me. I wouldn't say, we need to be all alarmed, but we really need to be mindful that this is not over. And I said this before, low threat does not mean no threat. And not put any blame anywhere, but everybody thought summertime was going to be a reprieve from the virus. Everybody thought, oh, well, the heat, the heat's going to kill the virus. The virus can't live in the heat. It's going to go away in the summertime. That doesn't seem to be the case, especially nationally when you look at states such as Florida and Texas, Arizona. Those states have had a big increase in COVID cases. What you could say or draw a conclusion on is be careful being indoors. In the heat and humidity, people tend to want to spend more time indoors in the air conditioning, and that seems to be, at least when you look at the southern states picking up the virus, it's definitely time being spent indoors. So we are going to do the best we can to remind citizens about social distancing and wearing face masks. Personally, my philosophy, I've always been the kind of person that feels government should help educate. Government should make people aware of a pending danger. And in a perfect world, I always like to think, responsible Americans can make their own decisions for their own safety and the safety of others. So I'm a dreamer. I always like to, have to err. I like to err on the side of American citizens doing their own thing, what they think is best for everybody. But here we are with a virus that seems to be hanging on like a dog biting your ankle. So what we're going to do in the city of Havre de Grace is we're going to come up with an awareness campaign. We have a couple cartoon characters that I worked with Bill Watson, a local artist, a few years ago. Rachel the Rockfish and Ollie the Lighthouse and decoys and crabs, Charlie the Crab. And so we are going to start putting stickers and magnets and coasters for restaurants and a lot of and bags and stuff like that, with just reminders to tell everybody that please wash your hands the best you can. Do your best to stay 6 feet from somebody and wear a mask if that's not possible. And so you'll see us set up maybe in a week or two down at the farmer's market. We'll have a little table set up where we'd like to hand out some giveaways, some reminders, just to get people, talking on the same page. So we don't know how long the governor's current orders are going to last. But, this is, as far as Havre de Grace goes, I'm concerned about us, our people, and I don't like the increased rise in numbers. So I want to keep our citizens safe, our families safe. So we're going to do the best we can. Also, another thing too, you'll see some signs in our parks we put up over the weekend just to remind people that to be in compliance with the governor's orders, that even if you're outside, but you're going to get within, a close distance to people, within 6 feet, you need to wear a mask outside now. So we have some signage just reminding people. And we're not going to make the promenade one way again, but we did put signs up that says, look, if you're walking a promenade, you should have a mask at least around your neck and get ready to pass somebody, because it's, there are a lot of people walk the promenade. You're going to be passing people. So it's in compliance with the governor's order. So grab a mask, keep it handy, and, let's just hope really, really smart people are working on a vaccine for the near future. So, okay, what else? Let's see here. Pardon our mess. If you're driving around the city and you see detour signs and road closures, our Department of Public Works has been extremely busy. I know that Baltimore Gas and Electric is upgrading new gas lines, but the city of Havre de Grace is also doing a lot of street repair. We're doing a lot of water valve replacement, sewer line replacement in some of the older areas of the town that really need it. We also are replacing sections of sidewalks that are in bad shape, especially sidewalks that may have been upheaved by tree roots and such. So we're trying to make our sidewalks safe so people don't trip on them and do the best we can with repair. We're also doing some tree trimming around the city and brush removal from David Craig Park and spruce that up a little bit. So pardon our mess, but we're just going to use the summer months here, going into the fall, to do as many outdoor projects as we can. And oh yeah, one more thing. August 9th through 15th, Shop Maryland tax-free week. So if anybody wants to go out and buy some clothes and not pay tax to the governor, August 9th through the 15th, save 6% on your purchases. So I just want to let everybody remind that. And before you go to the big box stores, I tell you, we have a lot of stores in Havre de Grace that sell a lot of things too. So start in Havre de Grace and then work your way out. So it's a good place to be. So with that said, I've thank everybody for your time. I want to thank council for all the work they've done to prepare themselves for this council meeting. It was a lot of legislation, and I appreciate council's diligence working to get it done. And we're going to start with Councilmember Boyer. Good evening.
Good evening, Mayor, Council President, colleagues. So right now, we have probably 15 people at home watching. And I kind of have a homework assignment for everybody who's watching. Tonight, we had a great group of people that we reappointed to commissions. But the problem that we have in Havre de Grace is that the same people keep volunteering over and over again, and we don't have a lot of new blood. And as a result, we have an ethics commission that doesn't have a woman on it, or a minority member on it. And that's the same with a lot of our commissions. And in order for us to be able to do better, we need people to step forward. And I know the people who are watching are probably the same people who volunteer time and time again. I'm not asking for you to step forward. I'm asking you to go out into the community and look for people and encourage them to step forward. That's what we need at this point. Because in order for us to have the right amount of diversity, including diversity of women, just a wide variety that we have here already in Havre de Grace, we need people to step forward. Otherwise, we're going to have the same people time and time again volunteering, and we're going to burn out everybody in the community who are the same people who are watching right now, time and time again. So please go out, look around your community, look on your Facebook pages, think of people who would be good to pull forward to volunteer for the commissions, and encourage them. Talk to any of the members up here tonight, because we really need to have everybody in the community represented on our boards. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments, Councilmember Boyer. Good evening, Councilmember Zinner.
Good evening. I just have to get this thing off my ear. Thank you very much. I can't talk without my glasses on, I think. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Mayor, council members, and citizens. I just want to, I really don't have too much to say tonight, but I did want to thank Mr. Roger Lee for coming forward and volunteering to take one of the empty spots on the Historic Preservation Commission, and we still have some openings, so if you feel that you have the qualifications and the interest in historic properties in Havre de Grace, please send an application to the mayor's office, and hopefully I'll see you in the well before too long. The other thing I did want to mention about the Historic Preservation Commission, we have not had a meeting since February. And after that, COVID struck, and it's been really difficult to get a quorum together. So we are planning to have a regularly scheduled meeting next Tuesday, August the 11th at 7 p.m., and we will be using Zoom meetings. So hopefully that will work for everyone, and that we will have a quorum at that time. So that's that. And then the other thing, I had a conversation with Chris Ritchie today, that I wanted to talk to him about the healthcare plan, because I hadn't heard anything. And he was able to get an excellent contract with Cigna Healthcare for our employees. And I think he really needs to be commended for some of his negotiating skills, and also for his contribution towards employee wellness that he takes very seriously and participates in all year long, and thus helping the city get the Silver Award, which I hadn't heard of until tonight. So I do want to call out Chris there for all the hard work he does, especially around getting this done in a very tight time frame with a lot of uncertainties this year. The last time I talked about the census, one of my favorite topics. So just wanted to let you know that the Maryland census as of yesterday is 66.9% participation for the state, and that is still 13th nationally. It was the same as I reported last month. Harford County is 75% participation, with Aberdeen at 67.1, Bel Air at 76.2, and Havre de Grace at 72.6. So we still have time to either go online or call and complete the census. So I just want to remind everyone. The other thing is, I was online at voter.org about a week ago, and it's a nonpartisan organization. And you can go in and within about 15 seconds check to see if you're registered to vote. So that's how quickly I think it came up with mine, but I knew I was registered. I just wanted to try it out. So I want to talk to anyone out there who's listening who is not yet 18 but will be 18 by November 3rd. You are eligible to vote if you will be 18 by Election Day. So I encourage you to go out and go on vote.org and put in your name and your information. You can register right then and there online. It only takes a couple minutes. You can also request an absentee ballot at that point and fill out that information. So I did try out the website. It's very easy to use, very intuitive, and takes very little time at all. So I would just encourage folks to go out to that website. And again, it's a nonpartisan website. It's not going to try to direct you to a political party or anything like that. It's just going to ask you some questions and take your information and register you for either the party of your choice or no party if you choose not to. So that's it for my comments this evening. Thank you.
Councilmember Zern, thank you very much for your comments. Good evening, Council Member Robertson.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. Just a couple things. Number one is there will be no Budget and Finance Committee meeting tomorrow. Again, no Budget and Finance Committee meeting tomorrow, Tuesday. Youth Commission had a meeting last Thursday that was live streamed. So if you had the opportunity to tune in, great. If not, it's still available on the city's YouTube, the city's YouTube channel. Basically, a couple things came out of that with, I guess the whole COVID thing has kind of put a wrench in some of our plans for the year thus far. Like the youth festival didn't occur and most likely won't this calendar year. And we had like a few pop-up parties and stuff like that we were planning that we're not going to be able to move forward with. So instead, we're working on, and also the folks at EDAB were willing to do internships with our youth, and we aren't really going to be able to put the youth in that situation, I don't think. So what we are going to do is we've partnered with the Boys and Girls Club in the like a youth-oriented workforce workshop, and then we're going to make it like a series. We've already done some not resume writing classes, but we did like mock interviews and stuff with the Boys and Girls Club. This was going back a few months. And we kind of want to just build on that, and the idea being that we'll have resources online, like videos and kind of like PowerPoints and stuff like that to show kids, how to write resumes. We'll have like Zoom meetings to show them how to interview properly and that kind of thing. And then hopefully by the spring, we'll be able to do an actual youth job fair and partnering with Lower Susquehanna Workforce, and, you know, have like a job fair dedicated to the kids. So that's stuff that we're working on. We're also looking to do civics, I guess, program, and, you know, teach young folks about civics. A lot of young people don't understand, you know, what their local representatives do. And we wanted to kick that off with Get to Know Your Government series and focus on the local government first, and then at the state level and beyond. And we would like to do a youth town hall as part of that. We're looking to find some dates and times in the fall, probably like late September. And, you know, my thought is it would be like a Zoom meeting, and I know a lot of Zooms, you have over 1,000 participants or up to 1,000 participants that could chime in, and, you know, we'll have a moderator and the youth can like submit their questions, and if we can have some council people there and the mayor, that would be really cool. Kind of get them involved in the local government process. And lastly, echo the mayor's comments about Shop Maryland Tax-Free Week. The annual tax-free shopping week is August 9th to 15th, allowing the public to save on purchases of qualified clothing and footwear priced under $100. You pay no sales tax on the first 40 toward purchase of any backpack. An extensive list of tax-exempt items for the week is available at marylandtaxes.gov. Also to note, the Havre de Grace Economic Development Advisory Board will hold a virtual meeting Wednesday, August 19th. That's Wednesday, August 19th, from 4 to 5 p.m., which are also uploaded in real time to YouTube for the public. Minutes and agenda will be posted on those cities' websites. So again, Wednesday, August 19th, from 4 to 5. You can tune in via YouTube for the EDAB meeting. So no excuse not to be paying attention to your local government anymore. No more, I can't make the council meetings, I don't know how to find it on the website, you know, blah, 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 blah. I mean, if you're not paying attention to what's going on at this point in time, it's on you. Mr. Mayor, that's it.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Robertson. We're going to check in on Councilmember Martin. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, citizens. Last Saturday, July 25th, Post 47, American Legion Riders, and the Hogs and Heroes did a small parade for 15 senior vets at a veterans home. So we were able to go up, social distance. It was a quick ride by the house while they were able to come out. They haven't seen anybody since March. So they've been quarantined for COVID, so they were able to stand on the balcony of the veterans home, and about 30 motorcycles and the Perryville Fire Department were able to participate and at least wave and show them that we're still thinking about them. Secondly, the Havre de Grace Ambulance Corps every Sunday is having a food truck Sunday from 4 to 8. They have a pavilion out back. They are cleaning up and sanitizing, so if you're tired of your own cooking, there is a food truck for the next 4 weeks, next 4 Sundays, from 4 to 8 at the pavilion at the Havre de Grace Ambulance Corps located on Route 155. Mr. Mayor, that's all I have for tonight.
Thank you very much, Councilmember Martin. Council President Glenn, what do you got for us? Well, I'm sorry, I skipped right over ringside. I'm sorry about that.
You've been busy all night.
He was busy, yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Heard enough
council.
from you.
More
I was going to say.
What more do you have to say?
What else you got to say? I mean, come on, man.
Well,
Sorry about that,
That's
Councilmember
completely
Ringsager. The floor is yours.
thank you, sir. Mr. Mayor, council, on August 6th at 7 p.m., the Wage and Benefits Commission will meet. We will meet virtually, and tomorrow on the city website, the link and the agenda will be posted. Citizens will not be allowed to comment or interact with the meeting, but they will be able, due to the Open Meetings Act, to view the meeting as well online as it's happening. And that's at 7 p.m., August 6th, and the link will be available online tomorrow with the agenda. I'd like to thank my fellow councilmen and councilwomen for voting unanimously in favor of all my pieces of legislation that I tendered this evening, especially the single concept plan. It's something we've worked very hard on and very, very long. to get pushed through. So I do really appreciate everybody supporting that. Ms. Ishak, I thank you so much for all your hard work on everything you've done. I thank you so much for always being there to answer your phone with any legal questions you have on that, and working so hard with our planning department to put together any legal briefings or anything to make sure everything's sufficient legally to move us forward and put the city on the right path. And so, with that, Mr. Mayor, I have spoken enough this evening.
Well done, Councilmember Ringsacher. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Council President.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and council members. First and foremost, Jimmy and fellow council members, awesome job tonight. Very, very busy agenda. And the one takeaway tonight, if you're paying attention, is despite COVID-19, City Hall and this council, this administration has been engaged. It's been engaged in a lot of hard work. We're fortunate enough to work with a lot of great people. I mean, Shane Grimm's been very busy. The city attorney's been busy. But what you saw tonight in passing 6 pieces of legislation doesn't happen by luck. It takes a lot of hard work, and I want to thank Jimmy and the council members for all your hard work and for getting it done. I want to congratulate Lieutenant Humphreys. I want to personally thank him for all he does each and every day to ensure our residents are safe. What you witnessed tonight was an outstanding and a well-deserved recognition, and well-deserved, and I'm glad MML recognized him because he really deserved it. Last but not least, I want to share something that's really been bothering me. It seems like every time you turn on TV, all you hear is the bad news. And what I want to encourage our residents is to be the engine of change. Let's all focus on the positive and not the negative, despite what social media wants to do, what TV wants to do. There's a lot of great news stories out there, and we got to share those stories. Just rather than turn the TV on and seeing all the negativity out there. Havre de Grace prides itself on leading by example, and here's an opportunity. Let's all strive to work together. We can do that by following some simple principles, and I want to share this with you. One, respect one another. Treat everyone the way you want to be treated. Something easy to do. Adopt a cooperative spirit. I encourage people to work together. I've always said that nobody's as smart as all of us, and that's really true. And we got to keep that in mind. So let's all work together. I encourage everybody to be compassionate and kind-hearted. You never know what challenges other people are facing. You never know how tough it is until you walk in their shoes. It doesn't take much to be that shoulder for people to lean on when they need it most. Bottom line up front, I want to recognize that the enemies behind the curtain are the ones trying to divide us. We got to put an end to that, and don't let them jerk your chain. Finally, working together with one another and not against one another, we can, without a doubt, make a difference. And I want to enforce that we all need to commit it to making that difference. And we can do that by showing honesty, integrity, and goodwill in all our daily interactions. Let's be the inspiration and the role model for all other municipalities. And we just got to work together and make sure that, let's talk about the positive things and not focus on the negativity. And we can step up to the plate, and we can do that on a daily basis, and I encourage everybody to do that. And with that being said, I'll end it with warrior proud, Havre de Grace strong, and stay safe.
Grace on top.
Thank you very much for your comments, Council President. We're going to go to item number 18, comments from citizens. At this time in the meeting, if you have any city business that was not on this evening's agenda, please raise your hand and be recognized.
Come on, Joe.
Okay. We will go to item 19, which is adjournment. Do I have a motion to close this meeting?
So moved.
Back in.
Okay, Councilmember Ringsacher, seconded by, was it Councilmember Robertson?
Didn't mean to say it that loud.
what was it, Councilmember Martin? Sorry.
Leaned a little
Seconded
bit
by
too far.
Councilmember Martin. Questions or comments about the adjournment? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say nay. Time is now 8:52. The August 3rd meeting is now adjourned. I thank everybody very much. Stay safe, Havre de Grace. Thank you.